Well, you may not be able to see it right now, the way my zoom settings are and the lens that I have in the camera, but there's a train coming. I can see it, maybe you can't. But it is there, it will be here. That's the way things are with Bible prophecy also. God sees things ahead of time that we can't see. And He tells us they're coming. And they are coming. It's just a matter of time. Well, good morning, Les Miller here. It's a beautiful July morning. We have had a ton of rain in the last 2 months here in southern Alberta. One of the few times I've been able to get out onto my favorite bike path here in town. I don't want to focus on the lady walking the dog here. I'll turn the camera this way. Yeah, I just wanted to make a short, quick video. July 4th today. This is America's 250th, and as a Canadian, I thought I'd ask a couple of questions and give a couple of answers. Yes, this is such a beautiful place. 25 years ago, it did not exist at all. All this was built in that time. I've been enjoying it for at least a dozen years now. I've kind of lost count, but wonderful place. I want to be outdoors today. Now, let's read from Revelation chapter 12 to give you the true story of America. Now a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. Then, being with child, she cried out in labor and in pain to give birth. This woman represents the pure church, the true-hearted, sincere believers in God over the centuries. The man-child born here represents Christ, the true hope of the church, the true hope for not only this life, but for the next life. More importantly, for the next life. Heaven is what it's really all about. We get some background theme things here in verses 3 and 4, and onward up to 7 and 8 and 9. And to make this video short, I'm not going to read it all, just give you some quick commentary. Satan worked through the Roman Empire, trying to stop Christ from his work of saving the world. And why? Because of the background that's mentioned there in Revelation 12. Before the creation of this world, at some point, Lucifer, who was once the highest angel, that's from Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28, I think, he started a rebellion in heaven, which is described in Revelation 12. And then he's been working through the various world empires since then to try and stop what Christ is trying to do by substituting it for some great human achievement that he wants to influence us to do. So we get to, let me see, verse 11 here, I think is where I'll start. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives to the death. That, of course, the days when Christians were being fed to the lions, but then also during the Dark Ages when people were being burned at the stake for their faith as well. Go to verse 13 here. Now when the dragon saw that he had been cast to the earth, Satan again, he persecuted the woman who gave birth to the male child. Another way of saying what I just said. But the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness to her place, where she is nourished for a time, times, and half a time from the presence of the serpent. Time, times, and half a time, that's a Bible saying. But time is a year, so it's 3.5 years, which is 1260 days using the Bible calendar. And therefore it is a prophetic description of the Dark Ages when the Catholic Church had political power. That was taken away in 1798. And of course, scratch a mosquito bite here, we have had a growing presence on the world stage for the popes since, well, for sure since John Paul II. But now, a very, very strong and powerful influence the church has. Let's get specifically into America's history here. So the serpent spewed water out of his mouth like a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. But the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon had spewed out of its mouth. This is the history of North America, Canada, and the United States. The earth symbolized America because water in the Bible is a prophetic description of people groups. So, a place with relatively few people, about 1 billion people in Europe and about 10 million natives in North America, and then wave after wave after wave of immigration. Most people who came to this land came for worldly prosperity reasons, financial reasons, political reasons. And it's been good to receive them. It's been good to build these two great countries. So in many ways, let's say, praise God for it. Let's say thank you very much to the United States for the influence of democracy that they've had on the rest of the world. But the dragon was spewing those waters. Worldly prosperity is not enough. And this is the point. America is described again. I'm not going to go over it into great detail here, but America is described again in Revelation 13 as the image of the beast. And he performs signs so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men and deceives those who dwell on the earth. That's verse 13 and 14 of Revelation 13. Fire that comes down from heaven, fulfilled in two ways. One, atomic weapons. Two, Pentecostalism. It's not the true gift of tongues, but I won't get into that today. What I want to do is go back to Revelation 12 and verse 17. And the dragon was enraged with the woman and went to make war with the rest of her offspring who keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Testimony of Jesus Christ, keep the commandments of God. Those are the people who God was allowing all this political prosperity for. The true-hearted, sincere believers in multiple generations. But I want you to notice there that word went. I've said this in other videos. I'm going to say it again because I think it's important. It needs to be emphasized more than once. Went as in went off or went away. During the Reformation, we had a combined religious and political conflict. And now as you watch documentaries, as you read books, as you hear political commentators on TV, and they talk about the history of the last couple of hundred years, and especially the importance of America's contribution to the world, they're usually talking from the political angle. And all the conflicts we have today between the religious right in America and Hollywood, the media, the intellectual elites, they're all dwelling on political issues, social issues, issues that relate to this life only. And that's the thing. In Revelation 13, when the mark of the beast comes on the world, it comes on all, both rich and poor, small and great. In other words, this conflict will always continue in every generation. And so when Christians today are all upset because of how evil our world is, well, but the Bible predicted there'd be hardly anybody in the end of time who would be standing for God. If I go over it all in detail, all I'm doing is giving you an in-depth analysis of how wrong everybody else is. It's what's right with God, what's really important are those words. The commandments of God, the testimony of Jesus. There's another verse also in Revelation 14:12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. If you want to understand what you really need to understand for the last days, born-again faith, all 10 of the 10 commandments, that is the true gospel message. And what does all 10 mean? Think about commandment number 4. Which day is the true Sabbath day? Think about that on July 4th, 2026, a Saturday.